Hey, what is going on, everyone? This is Mohammed, your personal PMP coach from Certified with Ease, coming back to you guys with another brand new video. A lot of you ask me, Mohammed, what's the best study plan to pass this exam? Let's say you don't have a lot of time, you want to just focus on the things that will show up on your exam and not focus on the things that you won't see on the exam. What are the things that I need to cover? Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about your study plan for 2026, what you need to focus on and what you should really master to prepare yourself for this exam. Now, shameless plug, I'm going to use our course as the the outline, and the reason being is because we've made this course in such a way that it covers the most important topics on the exam. It's made for people that don't have much time. They just want to focus on the essentials, okay? So, the first thing that you need to focus on are some key concepts, okay? Key concepts. Now, that does not mean you need to memorize the entire PMBOK textbook. Rather, it means that you need to focus on specific topics on the exam. Okay, so you'll notice that Agile has much more content than traditional. That's because 80% of the exam is Agile. Okay, so these are the most important topics that you just need to master for the exam. So, number one, you have what is Agile plus some keywords. So, understanding the basics of Agile, not just what the definition of Agile is, but the basics of the Agile foundations. Okay. Keywords. Now, this is important because it's going to apply to your exam. What are some keywords that tell you that this project that you're dealing with is an Agile project? Because remember, guys, when you're dealing with a question, the answer can change if the question, if the situation is an Agile situation or a predictive one. Okay. Number two, understanding the inverted triangle. This is a very important concept. We have this triangle in both predictive and Agile. We call it just the triangle or the inverted triangle when it comes to Agile project management because we flip things around. Okay, so this is an important concept as well. Now, obviously, I'm not explaining everything here. It's going to be too long, this video, but just note that this is what you have to know. Okay, Agile manifesto plus principles. Okay, what is the Agile manifesto? Have a bird's eye view. Have a general understanding what that is. What are some principles that are associated with Agile concepts? These are not our project management 23 mindset principles. These are principles that are specifically for Agile. The Agile development cycle, most probably the most important topic that you have to know. When you have a product that you want to create using an Agile project framework, what happens in every single step? I talked about this and I did a video on this because it's so important to understand. Who is responsible for each step? What are the deliverables? What are the outcomes of each step? Know everything about that specific cycle. Okay. On your exam, they might ask you, they might put the situation and they might say that, hey, should we talk about this during the retrospective, during the sprint review meeting? You have to understand the cycle in order to properly explain that. Okay. You got value prioritization. That is basically, which features are more valuable than others. So that's important. You don't have to get too technical with this. Just have an understanding of it. You got Kanban development, so your Kanban boards, what happens, the entire process of Kanban. Again, have a overview of it. You got your burn up, burn down, and velocity charts. Okay, so some people um, will get a burn down or burn up chart on their exam or even a velocity chart. You have to know how to analyze it. Don't go too deep, don't get too technical, just understand everything from a general perspective. Common spaces, and then you got predictive to agile. Okay, so predictive to agile is basically where where the team or the company has been so used to predictive, but they want to transition into agile. How does that look like? What is the process? Okay. Traditional project management, two main topics. What is traditional project management and the inverted or the triangle, the regular triangle when it comes to traditional project management. Now, you're probably wondering, Mohammed, there's like barely any theory topics. Well, that's because you start learning more of the theory when you start solving more problems. And that's the approach that I preach. You have to have some understanding of the theory, but you want to start solving problems right away because theory is not going to prepare you when it comes to answering questions. They're two different things for this exam specifically. And we're so used to it because we've been to college, university, we've taken exams before where memorizing is the key to success. In this exam, guys, memorizing is not the key to success. You can memorize the entire PMBOK guide and still fail the exam. You have to take that knowledge and translate it into practice, okay? And that's why I always tell my students, finish the key concept section, but move on to answering questions as quickly as possible because you're going to learn as you solve more questions, okay? So then we have the common PMP exam scenarios. So I'm not going to open these slots. These are for my students. I know obviously I can't just give up these courses, but these are some important scenarios that you just have to know for the exam. And you have to know how to handle these scenarios according to the PMI. Not according to yourself, not according to what you do at work, according to the PMI. And this is a part of the theory because it will teach you how the PMI takes this stuff, the risks, the issues, delays, whatever it may be, how they practically translate it when it comes to actual projects. Okay, so we're not just explaining what a risk is. How do you handle risk as a project manager according to the PMI? So common PMP exam scenario is very important because that's going to come on your exam 100%. We got our PMP mindset principles. Okay, so this is another section that you have to just know. You have to have a methodology for answering questions. This has to be a part of your study plan. So we talked about key concepts, we talked about knowing PMP exam scenarios. Now we are diving into the actual questions. But before the actual questions, ask yourself this: what is my game plan? As someone who wants to get PMP certified, what is my game plan when it comes to answering questions? What is the best approach? And then you have the PMP mindset principles. You might use different principles. You might use someone else's principles. No problem. Have a technique to eliminate answers right away. Learn how to do that. When you're solving problems, when you start seeing patterns, when you're like, you know what, escalate is never really an answer, note that down and study that. The exam, the exam is highly based on principles. So make sure that that is a part of your study plan, PMP mindset, right? Whether it's my principles, whether it's someone else's, it doesn't matter. Make sure that is a core component when it comes to preparing for this exam. Don't just randomly solve problems, okay? After PMP mindset section, you want to solve questions. Now, this is very important, guys. It's a little bit tricky here. You don't want to just solve random problems. You want to solve questions that can actually prepare you for the exam. And we do this in the foundational questions section where our foundational questions cover every single topic you can expect on the exam. You want to do the exact same thing. Okay. So you want to kind of go on to the common PMP exam scenarios and you want to make sure that every single block in this section is checked off, meaning that have I solved enough risk related questions? Have I solved enough issues related questions? Have I solved enough stakeholder engagement questions? Once you can confidently say yes, you've covered all the foundational questions. Okay. So this is really important. You want to make sure you are working on quality problems and make sure you don't forget the drag and drop. These are some common drag and drop um, common drag and drop topics. Again, we interview our students and ask them, hey, help us refine this program. And they tell us that, okay, I've seen this topic and that topic, and we refine our course according to that. Okay. You want to do that as well. You want to always be in the state of continuous improvement. Make sure that whatever you lack in, you are refining that particular part. Okay. As you are solving PMP questions, you're going to come across terms. They're going to start mentioning risk, issues, stakeholder engagement, agile, predictive, all the common ones, and then some acceptance criteria. Note these terms down in a separate notebook and understand them. Understand them. If you're seeing these terms come up a lot on your practice questions, they are going to come up on your exam. This is how you build a cheat sheet term bank or a vocabulary list. You have to know these terms. They're not going to ask you explicitly on the exam, hey, what is a acceptance criteria? Rather, they're going to mention it in a question or in an answer, and you're just going to have to know. And the only way to really form a good list is to solve problems and start jotting them down on a separate piece of paper so you can refer back to it. Okay, so this is something that we uniquely do, and you can decide if you want to do it or not. We test our students with a non timed exam simulator first. And what you want to do, guys, is when you're solving problems, you don't want to time yourself first right away. You want to get used to the questions. You want to get used to the flavor of the question. You want to get used to framing the problem. You want to get used to using the PMP mindset principles. Once you get better, then you want to start timing yourself. Okay. So ideally, get your hands on a exam simulator that has a timer option and has a non-timer option, and just practice. Just teach yourself. Okay, so how should you practice? Teach yourself. What is the problem statement? Mohammed, what would I eliminate? Right? Teach yourself. Pretend you're on YouTube, teaching the audience. That is the best way. And then you want to focus on timed exams as much as possible. Once you get comfortable with everything, mindset, foundational questions, cheat sheet, whatever it may be, focus on timed exams. Become a master when it comes to timed exams. Beat the clock every single time. If you don't, you risk failing the exam because the exam is timed. Okay? And at this stage, you can just focus on timed exam simulators. And remember, guys, 60 questions, 10-minute break. Another 60 questions, 10-minute break. Simulate the actual exam. Don't take a 30-minute break after 10 questions. The exam is extremely, extremely exhausting. Extremely exhausting. And the issue with that is you generally start to lose focus. So you need to prepare beforehand. Okay. And the last thing that you can do, if needed, I know a lot of simulators out there, they tell you, hey, you're lacking when it comes to people domain questions or process domain questions. If you need extra help, get your hands on some questions that focus on a specific domain so that you can refine the domains as you refine your entire study progress. Okay. So just to summarize really quickly what you should focus on the key concepts, theory first, then your common PMP exam scenarios. Okay. And you'll get a list of these scenarios as you're solving more problems. Make a list and just know how to answer them. PMP mindset, very important. You cannot skip that. It's a key to passing this program, this PMP program. PMP foundational questions that cover every single topic you can expect on the exam. You got your cheat sheet terms that you are building as you're progressing. And you want to start off with non-timed exam simulators and then transition to timed exam simulators. And then if you need, you can tackle some PMP domain specific questions. Okay. So that is your study plan for 2026. And hopefully the exam doesn't change too much in July. And if it does, I'll make another video refining the study plan so you can prepare for the exam. Okay. But take the PMP exam before the exam changes. Do not wait. We have several months, but listen, guys, time passes really quickly. And if you're interested in this program, the link is going to be included. You can book an appointment. You can check it out. You can ask your questions. And that's about it. Okay. Take care, guys, and have a fantastic rest of the day.